Hey everyone, gather around because I've got some super cool news that's going to make your day. Do you know those awesome Teen Titans characters from the comics and cartoons? Well, get ready because they're getting their movie, like a real-life big-screen adventure. Imagine seeing Robin, Starfire, Raven, Beast Boy, and Cyborg doing their superhero thing right before your eyes, battling bad guys and saving the day in live-action glory. It's going to be epic. Let's get into it. The DC heroes who initially started as the younger sidekicks of the more famous superheroes are stepping into the limelight with their very own live-action movie. And guess who's behind the scenes? It's none other than James Gunn and Peter Safran leading the charge at DC Studios. Anna Nogueira has been chosen to write the screenplay for this exciting project. She's already part of the DC family working on another film called Supergirl: Women of Tomorrow. Talk about being in demand. You might recognize Anna from her acting gigs in shows like the CW's The Vampire Diaries and Starz' Hightown. The Hollywood Reporter was the first to spill the beans about the new Teen Titans movie. Let's rewind a bit. The Teen Titans made their debut back in the 1960s, featuring characters like Robin, Kid Flash, Aqualad, and Wonder Girl. Later on, they were joined by others like Speedy, who was Green Arrow's sidekick. Initially, the comics were more geared towards younger audiences and didn't hit it big until the 1980s when Marv Wolfman and George Perez gave them a reboot. Well, Teen Titans went through some major changes that turned them into a huge hit for DC Comics. They added new members like Beast Boy, Cyborg, Raven, and Starfire to the original lineup of Robin and Wonder Girl. This new squad, called the New Teen Titans, skyrocketed in popularity and became DC's top-selling comic at the time. The stories of the New Teen Titans were more mature with deeper character development, intense relationships, and some seriously epic battles against their arch-enemies. These themes and ideas are still a big deal in comics and other forms of storytelling today. Over the years, the Teen Titans comic has gone through a bunch of revamps, mixing up the characters and storylines. Right now, DC Comics publishes a series called Titans featuring the classic lineup from the 1980s, but they're not teenagers anymore. They've grown up a bit. But here's where things get interesting. The Teen Titans became a huge media sensation thanks to an animated show called Teen Titans Go. It's a funny, sometimes kinda silly, but always entertaining take on the DC Universe. This show has been on the air for 8 seasons with almost 400 episodes. They even made a movie called Teen Titans Go to the Movies, which hit theaters back in 2018. Plus, you can find the Teen Titans in video games and all sorts of other cool things. The Teen Titans TV series aired from 2003 to 2006. It was pretty unique because it tackled some deep stuff like friendship, love, suffering, and redemption. Not your typical cartoon themes, right? What set this show apart was how the characters grew and learned from their mistakes as the series went on. It wasn't just all fun and games. There was some serious character development happening here. Originally, the show was only supposed to have 4 seasons, but it was so popular that Cartoon Network decided to give it a 5th season. See, unlike a lot of other cartoons at the time that were all about silly jokes, Teen Titans dared to dive into more mature themes. And you know what? It paid off big time. It stood out from the crowd, made a real impact on viewers, and didn't get stuck in a forgettable category. Talk about making a mark. Even in 2023, fans still can't get enough of the animation style of the Teen Titans series. It's praised for its cool blend of anime and traditional Western animation, which was pretty groundbreaking for DC Comics fans. The show manages to mix in those funny anime jokes with a more realistic environment, unlike a lot of other cartoons that go for fantastical scenery and super silly visuals. It's like the best of both worlds, and fans just can't get enough of it. So let's talk about the style of Teen Titans. When it needs to, the show can get pretty dark. Unlike other cartoons that stick to light and playful themes, Teen Titans isn't afraid to dive into deeper, moodier territory to keep its audience hooked. Here's the thing. When there's a big revelation or a character moment, the show's landscape turns into this eerie, almost spooky scene. It's like the darkness draws you in and makes the story feel more intense and personal. Now back to the live action. You know, it just makes sense for any live-action Teen Titans movie to kick things off with Robin, right? I mean, we're talking about the OG Dick Grayson, the guy who eventually becomes Nightwing and has led the Teen Titans crew in the past. Think about it. In all those different versions of Teen Titans we've seen, Robin's always been there in some form or another. Sometimes he's hinted at, and sometimes he's left out. But this time around, it's his chance to shine and establish himself as a major player in the DC Universe. Adding the Teen Titans to the DC Extended Universe might sound like a big challenge, but actually, it's not that complicated from a storytelling perspective. See, in the previous movies, they've mostly been ignored, except for a quick mention here and there. Like, remember that scene with Ben Affleck's Bruce Wayne looking at an empty Robin suit, or when Jared Leto's Joker talked about Jason Todd? But hey, that's about it. The Teen Titans haven't been part of the big picture as DC builds up its universe. Now, if Warner Brothers wants to beef up their superhero lineup fast, bringing in the Teen Titans would be a smart move. And the cool thing is, they can introduce all these new characters without having to rely too much on what's come before. So, who could we see in this new movie? Well, there are plenty of options. From well-known heroes like Starfire and Raven to lesser-known ones like Dove, the Teen Titans have a whole roster of characters to choose from. It's like building a whole new team of superheroes from scratch, and that's pretty exciting if you ask me. Adding to the mix, we've also seen characters like Jason Todd, Hawk, and Deathstroke pop up in the Teen Titans universe. Now, when it comes to this new live-action film, it's a bit of a mystery. We're not sure if they'll stick with these characters or start fresh with a whole new lineup. Remember that Supergirl movie we mentioned earlier? Well, it's officially happening. James Gunn and Peter Safran, the masterminds behind DC Studios, confirmed it along with a bunch of other exciting projects. And the Teen Titans movie we've been buzzing about? That's a fresh addition to the lineup. It wasn't a part of the original batch of confirmed projects. So mark your calendars because the superhero action kicks off with James Gunn's Superman movie on July 11th, 2025. And keep an eye out for more thrilling projects like a Batman adaptation called The Brave and the Bold, a spooky take on Swamp Thing, and an edgy team-up film called The Authority. The Teen Titans aren't strangers to live-action adventures. Back in 2018, they hit the screens in a show called Titans. It started on the DC Universe streaming platform and then moved to HBO Max. Despite its popularity, Titans got cancelled before it could go on for a 5th season. But don't worry, you can still catch all the action on HBO Max. So if you're up for some superhero fun, Titans is the show to binge watch. But wait, there's more. Get ready for a whole interconnected web of shows and movies telling an epic tale called Gods and Monsters. It's like the first phase of a grand adventure unfolding before our eyes. And while some projects like the sequel to The Batman starring Robert Pattinson will be standalone stories, they'll still be part of the bigger picture. So along with the Teen Titans movie hype, DC is cooking up more cool stuff. They're making movies under the name DC Elseworlds. These flicks won't be connected to the main DC Universe movies. It's like exploring different versions of our favorite heroes. For example, they're making a sequel to Joker in another Batman movie called The Batman Part 2. Plus, there's talk about a separate Superman movie in the works. It's pretty wild how superhero adaptations are everywhere these days, right? It feels like a new hero is hitting the screens almost every week. But here's the thing. While all these big-name heroes are hogging the spotlight, the sidekicks from the comic book pages have mostly been left in the shadows. That's where the Teen Titans come in. They're like the underdogs of the superhero world, waiting for their moment to shine. I mean, they've got the name recognition and the potential for an epic movie franchise, but for some reason it just hasn't happened yet. But now it looks like their time has finally come. With all the hype around superhero movies these days, it's about time the Teen Titans got their shot at the big screen. And let me tell you, it's going to be one heck of a ride. So let's keep our eyes peeled for more updates and get ready for some awesome superhero action. Don't miss out on the Teen Titans' epic journey to the big screen. Hit subscribe to join the excitement. Thanks for watching. See you next time.